Sorry, I see Beyonce tomorrow. What do you want me to do? Hey, happy end of April. I can't believe it's gonna be May. What the fuck? This is gonna be kind of a mukbang. Because I want to film now, but I also want to eat my lunch. Today we're eating this Trader Joe's microwave hatch chili mac and cheese that I did burn a little bit on the edges. So it's kind of crazy because I thought I didn't read a lot this month. I read 10 books. I'm just dramatic. It felt like I could have read more than I did. This was also a really busy month for me too, so it's actually a miracle I got any reading done, let alone 10 books. That's really insane. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's start with the books I read on my Kindle. I've said before that I tried to read at least 3 books on Kindle Unlimited every month, because to me, I've girl mathed that into making sense financially. So this week, I read 4 from a very popular series called the Windy City series by Liz Tomforde, bitch. This is a very, very, very hyped up series. I was like nervous to read it because of that. Sorry, mac and cheese bite time. Because people love this series. And I like sports romance, so I was like, okay, I can be into this. Let's talk. Let's talk Mile High. So Mile High is Stevie's a flight attendant for a hockey team. And on this hockey team, we have our arrogant womanizer, Xanders, who ends up wanting Stevie desperately and becomes obsessed with her. They hook up once, and he's like, oh my god, this is the love of my life, and he just changes his ways for her. It sounds pretty stupid, and it is, but here's what I want to say. People hate this one. People are like, oh my god, you just have to get through Mile High. Like, it's so bad, you have to get through it. I gave this 4 stars. Maybe I'd move it down to 3.5, but overall, I enjoyed this book. I don't feel like I was having to get through anything. I kind of said to myself, I will give it to 50%. If it's really that bad by 50%, I'll just skip it and go to the next book, because really, I don't think these matter, whether you read them in order or not. The only thing I'd say is you should read 3 before 4. I enjoyed this book. So, tropes we have reformed playboy, but I didn't hate it like I normally do. Situationship / friends with benefits to lovers. He falls first and harder. It's a hockey romance. Things I liked. I actually enjoyed Xander's character a lot. I enjoyed the journey he went through with his family and just kind of recognizing that he was in a toxic situation and how to get out of that. I enjoyed Stevie a lot as a character. I thought she was really cool. My dislikes, and this can be applied to every book in the series, to be honest with you. This was too damn long. This was too damn long. This could have been a lot shorter. Their breakup dragged the fuck on, dude. I was like, okay, just get it together. At this point, get it together. All right, now let's talk about book 2, baby. I'm literally sweating thinking about Ryan Shea right now. The Right Move. Quick mac and cheese bite. I need my energy if I'm gonna talk about Ryan Shea. So Indy is our main character. She's Stevie's best friend from book 1. She's low on money, so her best friend suggests that she moves in with her twin brother, very famous basketball player Ryan Shea. Ryan, in his storyline, he is recently promoted to team captain, but his coach is basically just like, you don't connect with these dudes at all and you need to. Like, I'm worried that you don't have a life outside of basketball. So naturally, Ryan decides to say that Indy, who he didn't want to move in with him in the first place, is actually his girlfriend. Because that happens in real life. I don't give a fuck. You know, this was definitely like a forced fake dating trope, you know? Like, it wasn't at all natural, even in the slightest, but I don't really care. You can't really do that with fake dating, because who does that in real life? Nobody. However, this was so fucking good. It has forced proximity, fake dating, obviously, it's best friend's brother. Ryan motherfucking Shea. He's got that same quiet confidence. He's a show don't tell kind of man, and that is the kind of man I need. He's so sensitive and he's so sweet. I loved Indy's character. I loved them together. I loved that he's kind of the more shy, reserved one, and she's just crazy, outgoing, cuckoo bananas. Love her. I loved the emphasis on love through actions versus love through words. What Liz Tomforde does well is these characters go through massive character growth throughout these stories, and I appreciate that. Some of them have to do with past trauma. Actually, in fact, I think most of them do. And the fact that Ryan learned sign language for Indy's father. Oh, I will just kill myself. My only note, once again, too fucking long. Book 3, Caught Up. Oh, I gave Right Move 4.5 stars, by the way. Caught Up, I also would give 4.5 stars. Kai Rhodes is a single dad. He's the pitcher for the Chicago whatever the fuck's baseball team, who has hated every nanny that has tried to watch his son while he plays baseball. So his coach, Monty, Monty says, my daughter's coming into town. She can be your nanny. You don't have to background check her. Like, she's a good enough person to watch your kid for a few months, and then we'll find something more permanent, because my daughter doesn't stay in one place very long. He's like, fine, whatever. First time he meets her, he sees that she's covered in tattoos, she's got a septum ring, she's double fisting 2 beers. I'm like, oh, I love her. He's all worried about her at first. He's like, dude, this is the woman that's gonna watch my child. Are you fucking kidding? But then she obviously ends up loving his kid. He ends up falling in love with her. You guys know how this goes. Miller, our FMC, she is a burnt out, overachieving, high-end pastry chef who doesn't know what to do with her life and doesn't know how to commit to anything at all. And she's basically been as high achieving as she is because her father basically gave up his baseball career to be her dad, and she feels a lot of guilt towards that, and she never addresses it and barely gets over it. Here's what I loved. Kai, need him so bad. He was so hot. Of course he was. Monty. But Monty. Oh, bitch. Monty is the real standout in this series for me. I love Monty so much. I am so happy we're getting a book, and it better be him and Reese, dude. Oh, it better be him and Reese. Miller, I really enjoyed the discussions of burnout that Miller had with her job. I just found that really relatable. I was crying for probably the last 15% of this book. I have to be honest, there were parts in the middle where I was really struggling to get through it, because again, these books are just too fucking long. I'm sorry. The other things I didn't love about this book, this was not a slow burn by any means. I didn't hate it, but I kind of would have liked a little bit more of a slow burn. Because 1 minute Kai like hates her guts, and the next he's flirting with her. I'm like, what? I do not like that Max was calling her mom by the end of it. I'm sorry. I thought that was so insane. He knew her for 2 months. 2 months. And everyone was just okay with him calling her mom. I don't know. I just thought that was crazy. Also got annoyed with how much Miller was like, oh, I have to do this because my dad gave up his life for me. Hey, can you just have a fucking conversation with him? Can you just listen to your dad tell you that that wasn't true? Because it wasn't. Instead of punishing yourself over and over and over again. Give that one 4.5. Definitely not my favorite, but I liked it a lot. Now let's talk about Play Along. Okay, this is book 4. This is Isaiah and Kennedy's book. Isaiah is Kai's younger brother. So Isaiah has had a crush on Kennedy for years. She's like the athletic doctor, physical therapist lady. I don't know her title. I can't remember off the top of my head. He's had a crush on her for 3 years. He finally notices one day that she's no longer wearing her engagement ring, and he's like, holy shit. And he basically becomes celibate because of it. They get drunk one night and accidentally get married. It comes out that they got married before they can like annul it or anything, and Kennedy's gonna lose her job, essentially, is what's gonna happen. So then they're like, they have to pretend that their marriage was real so that she doesn't lose her job. But she's looking for a new job somewhere else, and she has this job that she might get in San Francisco. So they're like, we're just gonna stay married for a few months, ride this out, you move to San Francisco, it'll be fine. I started this book and I was like, I'm bored and I don't think I like either of these characters that much. I don't know when it hit me. It was probably around like the 40% mark that I started to think, oh, I love Isaiah. I love him. I adore him. In like the little brother sense, well, he's hot as hell too. That man is a golden retriever to his core. And when I say I have never read a book where a man has been as obsessed with their woman as Isaiah was with Kennedy, I mean it. I've read 50-something books this year so far. You want a man who is obsessed. You want a man who doesn't go a fucking waking moment without thinking of his woman. You want a man who used to be a playboy and now has turned celibate just because she's no longer engaged. Not because she's done anything to indicate that she would have any sort of interest in him. Just because she's no longer engaged. Let me introduce you to Isaiah Rhodes. Oh my god, it was so good. And I just fell in love with him. And it happened so quickly because at first I was like, you're really annoying. And then I was getting mad at Kennedy because I was like, why are you not in love with him yet? Why are you not in love with him yet? It is pissing me off so bad. You don't even know how good you have it. He is so good to you. And he loves you. For you. Oh my god. I've never read a man more down bad than Isaiah Rhodes. Dislikes. I get it, but I also hate that she wouldn't report that fuck-ass doctor. The sexist piece of shit that didn't give her the job she was supposed to have because she was a woman. How the fuck did she not report him for that sooner? Because I get that she wasn't trying to cause a stir, but at a certain point, girl, you've been there for years and he still treats you like shit. Get his ass out of there. Especially as soon as I saw the woman come in to take ownership of the team, I was like, girl, you better fucking tell her. And then when the whole team wrote letters against him, that was really sweet. And yeah, Ken was just really bothering me a lot that she wasn't in love with Isaiah way sooner. I was like, girl, you don't even know what you fucking have. So anyway, yeah, that is the Windy City series. Play Along was my favorite. I think pretty easily. I would go Play Along, The Right Move, Caught Up, Mile High. Rio's book, I don't give a fuck, to be honest. I want Monty's book so badly. I can't think of anything else. Next book that I read in a massive shift in genre. Hey, what the fuck, guys? Obviously, I gave this a 5 stars. I was gasping audibly throughout the whole thing. I read this on a plane. Hey, don't do that. Hey, take a word of advice from me. If you're reading the Red Rising series, you're getting into book 2, you're getting towards the end especially. Hey, don't read it in public. You will be crying. Okay, so in this book, Darrow is out of the Institute. He's trying to figure out what his next steps are in terms of the Sons of Ars and the Mustang and everything. So he kind of tries to come up with a plan to take down the Sovereign, and things go to shit, naturally. Likes. Again, I am just obsessed with Pierce Brown's writing style. Every time EO is brought up, I am brought to tears. Still, we knew her for 50 pages in book 1, and I don't care. Every time she's brought up, I am brought to tears. Listening to his internal struggle with loneliness, listening to the way that he thinks about Mustang alongside EO. My only dislike is that sometimes it was a little bit hard to follow leading up to these battles. But other than that, flawless, no fucking notes. I was never bored. And the cliffhanger? Several Fitchner, dude. I was shocked. I don't know if I'm stupid. I don't know what. I was shocked. Next. I read the next 2 books in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. So I read Swift and Saddled, and I read Lost and Lassoed. Let's start with Miss Swift and Saddled. I would give this 3.5 stars. I liked it better than Done and Dusted. We have Forced Proximity, we have Grumpy Sunshine. So Wes, we learn in book 1, he's trying to open like the guest, basically bed and breakfast at Rebel Blue. And he's doing that by taking an old piece of land on the property and renovating it and bringing in an interior designer, Miss Ada. They meet at a bar night 1, not knowing who the other is because they've never met before in person, and they make out, and they think the other is very attractive, and then they show up to work the next day, and holy shit, it's the person I made out with at the bar and then ran away. This dragged on a lot to me, to be honest, and I like a mismatched couple, but these two, I don't know, I just couldn't see it. I literally wrote down, what the hell is this trope, because it's insta-love one moment, and then now they hate each other, and I'm so confused. Ada was just being so mean to him for no reason. I just thought that was really unfair. And I also feel like her divorce was brought up, but I feel like it was not delved into the way it should have been. Wes, let's talk about likes. Okay. Wes had so many good one-liners, and I really did enjoy him as a character, and I was actually kind of emotional at the end, and I don't really remember why. Yeah, all my tabs are towards the end, because honestly, the beginning, I was really just forcing myself to finish, because I wanted to read book 3, which we will talk about. I can't tell if I liked or strongly disliked the conversations about depression. I think she was very delicate with it, Lyla Sage was, and I appreciate that, but some of it I was like, oh, I mean, I probably wouldn't have said it that way, but that's okay. Dislikes. I was just annoyed when Ada was so fucking mean to him for no reason. Like, he was being so polite despite everything, and she was just nasty to him. You don't have to be, like, warm and inviting and flirty with him, but you don't need to be rude. The third act breakup was stupid. The fact that she took his car to run away, I was like, well, you know you're gonna have to return that. You're not gonna commit Grand Theft Auto here, bitch. I thought that was so dumb and so pointless. Don't do a third act breakup at that point. Make them have a tough conversation about, like, what are we gonna do? Like, what is your career gonna do? How is this gonna work out? That could have been a good third act plot point. Why did she need to run away? This book also helped me realize, well, this and the third one helped me realize what it was about Lyla Sage's writing that I just couldn't connect with, and that was the spice. I do not like the way that she writes spice. I don't know what it is. Well, I know a few things. It wasn't as prevalent in this book, but in the first and the third, it was. The nicknames. Nickname is cute. I love a nickname. Every once in a while. Not every fucking time you address her when you're banging. I don't normally feel like I have to skip through spicy scenes, but in these books I did. Because I don't know what it is about the way she writes spice. I do not like it. I found it so cringy, and I was like, oh, please just stop. 3.5. This was only a little bit better than Done and Dusted for me, personally. Now, book 3. Lost and Lassoed. I gave this one 4 stars. This was the book that I literally sat through book 2 just to read. Bitch, I was waiting for Teddy and Gus's story since book 1. Since I met them, I was like, oh, we better. And they did not disappoint. I really enjoyed this book. 4 stars, 2 chilies. We have an enemies to lovers, best friend's brother. He's a single dad. She becomes a nanny. I liked that they actually hated each other at first, but it didn't last long. And that part kind of annoyed me. Like, why are you asking her in chapter 2 if she thinks you're a good dad? You don't like her. Why do you care if she thinks you're a good dad? I guess the slow burn was the friends we made along the way. I guess you can count books 1 and 2 as being their slow burn. I guess I would have liked a little bit more of a slow burn. God, I just really loved Teddy. I think Teddy was the standout character to me in this series so far. I kind of knew she would be, but I just loved the way that she discussed the fear of everyone moving on with their lives and being stuck. I think that's a really relatable feeling for so many people, because it's not even that you're unhappy, it's that, like, well, wait, I see these people doing this and these people doing this. Am I behind? I just really enjoyed that discussion, and I enjoyed the way that she explored that. Like, it wasn't just a one-time thought, it was something that she was consciously thinking about, it was something she was talking about with people. And back to the spice thing. So in book 1, it was Sugar. That was the nickname that was used every time he addressed her. In this book, it was Teddy Baby. And I love Teddy Baby as a nickname. I think it's really cute, and I think it would get me all hot and bothered if I was her. Once! Why is he calling her that every fucking sentence? I don't know. Like, he needed to relax. You learn at the beginning that something happened between Teddy and Gus that we didn't know about in the books past, and that apparently no one else knows about either. That they kissed once a long time ago. I kind of wish that wasn't there. I wanted this to be, like, really out of nowhere. Really like, holy shit, we hated each other, and now we're into this. But I also get why it was done for the purpose of story, because with how quickly these two bitches get together in this book, there needed to be some background there. Low-key with Emmy and Luke, I'm pointing at it because it's right there. With Emmy and Luke, I wish there was something that had happened between them in the past, because they got together too quickly for my liking. I have Wild and Wrangled behind me. I'm very excited. I already enjoy Cam as a character. I don't really give a fuck about Dusty, to be honest. They tried to give him some screen time in the 3rd book, but, like, I don't know. GBBL! Great Big Beautiful Life. Great big, bitch. Because I saw that there was paperback available, and I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. Usually it takes a while for the paperback to come out with Emily Henry's books. So I saw that this was in paperback, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm buying that. I got the big print. Look at that. I read this in less than 24 hours. This has been one of the releases that I've just been the most excited for this year, because I enjoy Emily Henry's writing a lot. I think her books are really easy to read. And when I heard what this was about, that it was like a Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo type beat with a little bit of, like, rivals to lovers romance, I was like, oh, sign me the fuck up. I liked it. I gave it a 3.5. I think I would stand by that rating. I found it very easy to read. I found it very engaging. I was never bored at any point. I really enjoyed Margaret's story. Oh, let me say what it's about, probably, huh? Our main character is named Alice. Alice is like this eternal optimist, overly optimistic person, quirky, all those things. Normally, those are attributes in an FMC that I do not like. Normally, those types of main characters really fucking annoy me. But I actually really enjoyed Alice, because Alice's optimism was warranted. I just think it was genuinely her perspective on life and not her being naive. And I feel like usually optimism is just framed as naivete. And it wasn't in Alice's case. I think in the relationship with her mother, we see a little bit of that, of her just trying to cover things up instead of addressing them. But in every other scenario, she was real as fuck. Alice and Hayden basically find out that they are competing to write for this one woman who is like this really, really famous woman who went into hiding all these years ago and now wants to tell her story. And she hires these 2 writers, and she says, I'm gonna pick one of you by the end, but I need you to both do this with me for a month. Alice comes in, she's all sunshine, rainbows, let's go, bitch, I'm so excited for this, like, I'm ready to fight. Hayden is basically just like, well, I am better than you anyways, so I'm not even worried about it. He is the exact same as Charlie in Book Lovers, and he is the exact same as Gus in Beach Read. Broody, he's the rival, he's a grumpy little asshole. I've always said about Emily Henry's books, it's never the men that impress me. It's always the women, and it's always the stories and the banter. Emily Henry's my queen of banter, and I stand by that, even in this book. Even though I wasn't as obsessed with this book as I have been with her other ones, I don't care. The banter was still bantering. Tropes, we have rivals to lovers, grumpy sunshine, forbidden-ish romance, because they're like, we probably shouldn't be doing anything if we're working against each other. I find Margaret's storyline really entertaining. I enjoyed Alice. We talked about those things. Dislikes. This was just Beach Read with a different prompt, and let me explain to you what I mean. So they both take place in a beach town. They both have these 2 rivals basically. In the case of Beach Read, they're not necessarily competing against each other, but like they write very different things, and one of them thinks that they're better than the other. So same type of beat there. Grumpy Asshole and Quirky FMC. The FMC has a dead dad that is recently deceased and a complicated relationship with her family that she's trying to work through. I was reading this and at first I was like, what is this like? Book lovers? And then I was like, no, because the Book Lovers FMC, my favorite Emily Henry FMC, is also kind of Black Cat energy. And then I was like, no, it's Beach Read. Both of them talked about cults too, okay? Thought that was funny. I mean, I love it when cults get brought up, so I'm not mad about it, but I still, there was so much dry humping in this. I was like, good God. You know what? I support it. A lot of people have said about this book that they don't think it should be labeled a romance. I feel neutral about that. I see where they're coming from because I do feel like the main storyline in this book is with Margaret and her story and going through her life. Not obsessed with the romance that developed between Alice and Hayden. I'm just kind of indifferent about it, but it's there. I don't think it's fair to say that this is not a romance. It definitely is, but I do see where people are coming from when they say that they think that this should be labeled women's fiction. That's Great Big Beautiful Life. Again, 3.5 stars. This has a very minimal amount of spice in it. My last two books, the first two books in the Hunger Games series. Here's what I want to say about this. I am filming a reading vlog of the Hunger Games series right now where I go way more in depth about these two books. And then I haven't really started Mockingjay yet because I want to film it and I haven't been film presentable in a while. But I'm going to do a reading vlog for the rest of the books. I have the rest of them. So I have Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes right here. Oh, I want to show you guys this. So my roommate got Sunrise on the Reaping and she thought she ordered like, you know, the regular book, but she got this bootlegged version. Just look at this. Like, it just doesn't look right. And then here's the first page. We're like trying to figure out where this came from. This is definitely a Kindle book that was printed out. Like, are you kidding? Those two are definitely on my reading list for next month. But here's what I'm just gonna say very briefly about these two books. I was very impressed and I was not expecting to be. Both of these were 5-star reads for me. I really wasn't sure if this was gonna be like YA cringe writing. It was not. She's a beautiful writer. I really love how I was just engaged right from the get-go. The world building is not complicated. You get thrown right in, but it's really easy to follow. I think that takes a lot of skill. This book I went through in 24 hours. I just could not put it down. It was so incredible, but for some reason I just haven't had the motivation to pick up Mockingjay. Those are all the books that I read in April. May, I'm reading Conditions of World this month. I'm upset at myself that I didn't read it sooner. Everything that I've seen about this book, about what it's about, I know it's going to ruin me, and I'm so excited. Also, we're gonna read Wild and Wrangled. I'd like to read Say You'll Remember Me, but I'm not gonna prioritize it. First Time Caller, dude, I've been saying I was gonna read that for God knows how long. Then we also have Morning Star, which is the next book in the Red Rising series. I need to be like mentally locked the fuck in when I read that, so I don't know when that's gonna come. But I want it to be soon because I want to keep my momentum because but I also, it feels like ages since I read Golden Sun and that was a month ago. Anyway, thank you guys for I don't know if anyone even fucking watches this, but if you do, this is mostly for myself because I need to talk about these books in a longer form of content. So I appreciate y'all if you're here. Stay tuned for my Hunger Games vlog.